Did you know Jack Nicholson once said that JT Walsh was the best actor he ever worked with? Not Pacino, not De Niro, JT Walsh. He wasn't a household name, he didn't need to be, because when he was on screen, you felt it. Whether he was the smug politician, the cold bureaucrat, or the simmering villain with something bubbling under the surface, Walsh had a presence that could steal a scene from anyone without raising his voice. And then, just like that, he was gone. So what the hell happened to JT Walsh? Let's fade to black. James Thomas Walsh was born on September 28, 1943 in San Francisco, California. He grew up in Vermont and later Massachusetts, eventually graduating from the University of Rhode Island with a degree in sociology. But acting wasn't his first calling. In fact, Walsh didn't even appear in a film until he was well into his 30s. Before that, he'd been immersed in the world of theatre, performing in small productions throughout the 70s and early 80s. He worked as a stage manager, a construction worker, whatever it took to stay afloat. His transition to screen was slow, deliberate, and unglamorous. He made his first feature film appearance in 1983's Silkwood, in a small part. But what followed was a string of increasingly authoritative roles where his calm voice and unshakable demeanour began to stand out. Walsh quickly became the go-to man for roles that required gravitas. District attorneys, colonels, senators, corrupt CEOs. He exuded control, but behind that calm exterior, there was always something dangerous. He delivered memorable turns in Good Morning Vietnam as the uptight Sergeant Major Dickerson, trying to shut down Robin Williams' Adrian Cronauer at every turn. Then came Tequila Sunrise, Backdraft, and The Grifters. Audiences started to recognise him, not by name necessarily, but by the way he made you feel. Uneasy, intrigued, locked in. In Backdraft, JT Walsh plays Alderman Marty Swayzak, a slick, self-serving politician trying to cover up corruption while exploiting the Chicago Fire Department's tragedy for personal gain.
I mean, we almost lost the whole goddamn company for you today just because, well, you know, since you shut down 33. Well, there's no fucking backup, right? And we do. We appreciate it. I mean, I don't know about the rest of the guys, but you got my vote for mayor.
Look, Lieutenant, if you have a problem, why don't you help us? Why don't you work with the task force?
Task force? 3 guys have died already this year because of the cuts made by your fucking task force.
Lieutenant, you know that little glow that started to blink in the corner of your eye?
Anybody's lights are about to go out.
He's not the central villain, but Walsh's performance is vital. It's calm, composed, and always 2 steps ahead. It was 1992's A Few Good Men where many truly noticed JT Walsh. As Lieutenant Colonel Markinson, he was the man caught in the middle, complicit, but broken by conscience. His scenes with Tom Cruise are riveting, especially the moment he chooses to come clean. Then came Red Rock West in 1993, a criminally underrated noir where Walsh played a charming but deadly sheriff with secrets.
I thought you were supposed to be here last Friday. I was beginning to think I'd have to find somebody else.
It's one of his most layered performances, blending charisma with menace. This was peak JT Walsh, appearing in multiple major films each year, often playing different shades of morally compromised men. By the late 90s, Walsh was in demand, and perhaps no role cemented his legacy more than his performance in Breakdown in 1997 opposite Kurt Russell. Playing the chillingly calm Jeffrey Dahmer-esque antagonist who kidnaps Russell's wife, Walsh is horrifying in how reasonable he seems.
Never mind. Listen, I'm looking for my wife.
What?
My wife. Where is she?
How should I know where your wife is?
I'm the guy with the Jeep. You gave my wife a ride. You were supposed to drop her off at Bell's Diner.
Not me, sorry.
Wait a minute. What do you mean, sorry? It's like a half an hour ago, for Christ's sake. You don't remember?
Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but I've never seen you before in my life.
What are you doing? Amy?
He's not a movie monster, he's just a man, and that's what makes him terrifying. It's a performance that should have landed him major award recognition, but like much of his career, it just kind of flew under the radar. Then came The Negotiator in 1998, where he played the corrupt police commander caught in a deadly standoff. He holds his own alongside Samuel L. Jackson and Kevin Spacey. This would tragically be one of his final performances. JT Walsh's final completed role was in Pleasantville in 1998, where he played the town's authoritarian mayor.
My friends, this isn't about George's dinner. It's not about Roy's shirt. It's a question of values. It's a question of whether we want to hold on to those values that made this place great. So, a time has come to make a decision. Are we in this thing alone, or are we in it together?
Together.
Together.
Together. Together.
The film's themes about fear of change, control, and repression mirrored many of the characters Walsh had made a career out of playing. His performance is subtle and powerful, a fitting farewell, though few watching the film at the time realised it would be his last. He passed away before the film was even released. While he's most remembered for film, JT Walsh also had notable appearances on television. He starred in episodes of The X-Files, Dark Skies, and even the 1980s revival of The Twilight Zone. On stage, he worked off-Broadway in the 1970s and 80s, though much of that work has been sadly overshadowed by his on-screen roles. He was the classic working actor. Dependable, consistent, and endlessly watchable. JT Walsh's private life was just that, private. He was married once, had a son, but never courted the spotlight. JT Walsh passed away unexpectedly on February 27, 1998, while on a vacation in the San Diego area. He was just 54 years old. The cause was a heart attack, and reports suggest he was travelling with family at the time, though exact details remain private. Those close to him noted he was a lifelong smoker, a habit that may have contributed to the heart issues that ultimately took his life. But there had been no public signs of illness, no slowing down, no long battles behind the scenes. One day he was working, commanding the screen as always, and the next, gone. What makes his death hit harder is that it came at the height of his career. He had just completed work on The Negotiator, a high-profile thriller starring Samuel L. Jackson and Kevin Spacey, and Pleasantville, which would be released posthumously that same year. In a tribute, The Negotiator was dedicated to his memory, and watching him in those final roles, it's impossible not to feel the weight of what was lost. An actor in his prime, still ascending with so much more to give. Directors like Rob Reiner and Barry Levinson paid tribute. Jack Nicholson dedicated his Academy Award for As Good as It Gets to Walsh's memory.
I'd like to dedicate this to Miles Davis, Robert Mitchum, Shorty Smith, Joe Vitrano, Ray Kramer, Rupert Cross, JT Walsh, and Luana Anders. They're not here anymore, but they're in my heart, and I thank you.
JT Walsh isn't mentioned as often as he should be today. He doesn't show up on greatest actors of the 90s lists, he's rarely the subject of retrospectives, but he should be. He had a gift, the ability to command a room with stillness, to control a scene with the slightest gesture. He could be terrifying without raising his voice, heartbreaking without a single tear. He was the kind of actor who made every film better just by being in it. I've wanted to make this video for a while, because JT Walsh was one of the greats, and not enough people talk about him anymore. And maybe that's how he'd want it. He never chased stardom, he just worked. And in doing so left behind a body of work that is incredible. So if you haven't revisited Red Rock West, or Breakdown, or Pleasantville, maybe now's the time. If you enjoyed this look back at JT Walsh's incredible and underappreciated career, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and let me know your favourite performance in the comments. Thanks for watching, and as ever, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one.